You declared your love for something, and I don't think you've actually said it because it was off the air. And I'm going to say it now, just because the fans they see it in your tweets. You declared your love for a certain band from the UK, Blur. So, Buckler.
Where's the off button on this thing?
Miles. You're my guest of honor, and I'm happy to have you back. Okay, so because he will actually get fucked off. So I'm just kidding. Oasis. Everyone knows it. They follow you. Just follow you within a day. They're going to see you love Oasis. I know that because I've talked to you in great detail. So in the last chat we had, you named your favorite Oasis album, your Oasis tattoo, the influence they've had on your life, discussed the Gallagher brothers. So during the summer, you were lucky enough to see Noel Gallagher. And we exchanged messages. I was super happy for you to see one of the Gallagher brothers in UK. Wow. I want to hear about your experience, because I told you about my experience at seeing Liam Gallagher last year at the park. Fantastic. Over 100,000 people. One of the best experiences I've ever had. Diamond in the Dark, for me, highlight of the stuff. But Miles, tell me about your experience at Noel Gallagher in America over the summer.
Well, the craziest part about the whole thing was, so we had this day trip planned, and we had to drive to a town called Alpharetta. It's pretty much Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that the show, the gates open around 5, but there was, Metric was opening, and then Garbage was opening, and then Noel Gallagher, High Flying Birds. So we went to a shopping center, and we walked out, and I could faintly hear in the distance, this was about 1 p.m., I could faintly hear in the distance Pretty Boy playing. I said, who's playing this here? There's people around here don't really know this music.
Yeah.
And so we started following the sound and realized that the amphitheater where he was performing was right up the road. So we followed the sound, and what it was he was doing sound check. And so I got out of the vehicle and ran to the gate. I couldn't see him, but I was hearing him, and I was hearing like Half the World Away, little by little. And I was almost shaking because, given how I feel about the whole thing. So
As a passionate Oasis fan, back. This feels like a dream.
Correct. It was unreal for a bit. So we went back to the hotel, got dressed and all that, and sat through, not taking anything away from Metric. Enjoyed their show. Not taking anything away from Garbage. The show was okay. A couple of good songs. But, when you're there for, quote unquote, the main event, and it was just unbelievable. And of course, he saves Don't Look Back in Anger, which is my all-time favorite tune, for the very end of the show. And as soon as those first notes of that song hit, man, it was just like everything in my body just...
You're going to deny this, right? But I can tell someone's kind of fibbing me, or like telling porkies. Did you cry? Be honest.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey, the violent gentleman has a heart. Do you hear that, people?
Yeah, I mean, there are moments when one is overcome with emotion, and that was one of those moments.
Bryce, you've got new material, by the way, Bryce.
You're enjoying this a bit too much, I believe.
But no, don't tell me, man. Like, just tell me about the emotion, man. Like, just being there in attendance. Like, how far were you? You were standing, wasn't you, for Noel Gallagher?
Well, they had like a pit area where people was, I believe they were standing, but we were like 7 rows back from the pit. And it was crazy because I knew pretty much everything he was playing, and you could tell those around didn't. And we're talking about, because at that time his Council Skies album had just come out like 2-3 weeks before. Yeah. And so people didn't know it. And then even a lot of them didn't know most of the Oasis stuff.
Were they just like, play Wonderwall?
Nobody asked for that. But the funniest thing about it, and I think you'll get a kick out of this because it's what I walk out to in my matches. At the end of the show, he said, all right, can anybody guess what the next song's going to be, or the last song's going to be? And everybody knew it was Don't Look Back in Anger. There's some geezer about 10 rows back that yells, "Fuck it out of the bushes!" And I lost it. It was really funny to me. But I enjoyed the show. Anybody who's seen their live shows knows that Noel likes to mess around with the crowd a little bit. Yeah. And he even said, like, the first 5 songs are off my new album, which you probably stream, or you don't know what they are. And then he said something about the 90s was the greatest decade until you word I'm not allowed to say on this podcast. It starts with a C.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday's ruined it all with your streaming.